going to hold your purse while I say this. Most of the makeup, skincare, and fragrance that are released are not even worth you wanting. Hi, it's Crystal, your very own personal beauty pro. And as a beauty professional, I am going to be a lot more direct with you so that you can really benefit from having the inside knowledge that I have. Every week, as we know, there is a new beauty release, and whether you're a professional or you're a beauty enthusiast, in my case, I am both. Pretty things will just catch your eye, but that doesn't mean that they are worth a buy. And really and truly, many things look pretty, but when you get down to it, the formula, performance, what you're getting for your money is not always exceptional. But of course, there are some pretty things that do catch my eye, and there are also things that I need to replenish either personally or for my professional kit. And some of these things people don't talk about as often, and I'm going to share them with you. We're going to cover a fabulous range of products, fragrance, and of course, makeup. If you're a girly girl, a beauty lover, or you just love a little edutainment, you are going to love this video. Now let's just go ahead and get the judgment out of the way because in a recent video, I said I was going to be reducing the amount of Bath & Body Works products that I brought into this home, and yet here are a few more, but I have an explanation. If you follow the shady dealings of Bath & Body Works, then you know they kept having a different sale like practically every day. I resisted the urge to participate in the candle sale, although I am down to my last leaves candle. Technically, these really aren't for me because I'm going to put them in the guest bathroom and in the kitchen. Hand soaps and hand lotions all seem to run out at the same time, and I thought it was a nice time to kind of switch it up and get some fun scents in the winter. Candy apple, it's so fun and delicious. And I also got gingerbread bakery. I was completely out of wallflowers, and I really do love the touch that these add to the home and to the atmosphere. I got sugared snickerdoodle, which is absolutely delicious. Iced ginger snap, which I've never tried before, so hopefully these are good. I've loved this product for a long time, but it's been a long time since I've replenished it. I'm so glad to have it back, especially this time of year where my dry skin tends to get even drier. This is the Alpha Renewal Body Lotion, and it works wonders. I thought I would try some other brands to see how they compare, but this one is still at the top of the list. It's 12% glycolic acid. I would definitely recommend using it every other day rather than every day. So this time of year where you can be maybe more dehydrated, maybe have that ashiness to the skin, or even a little crepiness. It's nourishing, it's hydrating, and it really helps skin cell turnover. Now this is an odd item you don't see often. This is the Kojisan soap. Now before you start singing Dema Bleach, allow me to explain. Although it says it's a skin lightening soap, not intended to bleach the skin or to change your coloring or anything of that nature. Now what it is good for, due to one of the primary ingredients, kojic acid, is lightening hyperpigmented areas. So the elbows, the knees, the underarms, the bikini area, those areas that tend to get dark just naturally, maybe due to shaving, things of that nature. This will help bring those back into harmony with the rest of the complexion. And that goes for anyone, whether you are fair or whether you are deep. As the skin tone spectrum gets deeper, naturally you will not be all one color. That is not the goal. But sometimes with the darkness in the elbows and the knees, it really is due to neglect and due to not exfoliating properly. And so exfoliating scrubs and soaps like these a couple of times a week will help bring that skin back into harmony. So I don't use this every day, and I don't use it all year round. I'll go through a couple of bars, maybe twice a year. Another self-care item that's often overlooked, but that I think every girl should have at her nightstand and in her purse is cuticle oil. I usually get the solar cuticle oil. It smells so good, has this almond scent, and I really do notice a difference in nail health and cuticle health when I'm consistent. Put a bit around the cuticles, obviously, but also underneath the edge of the nail. Love OPI nail polish, but I think this is my first time using their nail oil, and if the texture and the fragrance is any indication, I am going to love this. I picked up some really pretty makeup pieces. Some of these are going to sound more familiar, whereas others aren't talked about quite as often, so these are going to be fun. Let's start with something I picked up from Hourglass. This is the Hourglass number 28 Primer Serum. Hourglass has a couple of nice skin prep items. I love the texture of this and how nourishing it feels and how it sets once it's massaged into the skin. Also, a little goes a long way, so it'll last a really long time. I discovered this because I started with a travel size, and that's a nice way to test products if you're interested in something. This is a product that honestly just got the best of me. I had vowed not to get another one of these palettes, but I couldn't resist. The quality is gorgeous. Because I had been reaching for Hourglass so much this year and was so impressed with the continued quality, I really wanted to try one of these with the deeper shades. This one is the Lotus Flower Ambient Lighting Palette. I gave you a sneak peek on how this works in the last video, so be sure to watch it. Whether you're a professional makeup artist or you're a makeup lover, you have likely heard of Laura Mercier, especially for her unmatched loose setting powder, but you may not hear about her other products as much, and one that's starting to catch a little buzz is her lipstick. It has this caviar smoothing lipstick, and in particular I was interested in the shade Chantilly Lace. Laura Mercier did not cut corners with the component or the packaging. It's this beautiful embossed metal bar detailing that actually curves around to the top of the cap. It's a very pretty detail. It's also magnetized, which costs the brand a little more to do. This is the gorgeous Chantilly Lace. I have really been in my nude lipstick bag lately, and what kind of sparked it was I noticed a lot of the really good concealer nudes, meaning that super pale nude, was getting discontinued, and it didn't seem like there were as many of those on the market as there used to be. MAC had Myth, but something about that shade kind of deepened or got peachier as the years went by. There's a couple I do like Kim KW by Charlotte Tilbury. I'm really searching around seeing which brands are coming out with worthy nudes. I can already tell you I love this. This is a beautiful nude pink. And with these types of nudes, sometimes it's hard to get the formula right because it can get patchy and kind of pull apart, so it looks a little streaky. This one lays down smooth and even and opaque, so you get a true color. Colors like these are beautiful across the board, across complexions, from deep to fair. You just have to have that right lip liner. The only thing I don't particularly care for with modern matte lipsticks is that the brands wanted to make them more comfortable for people. But I really prefer the old school dry, almost clay-like texture of matte lipsticks. Those look so beautiful, especially in shades like red. With the newer modern matte formulas, they do have a subtle satin sheen. You can mattify that easily with a bit of tissue and a little powder. While I was at Laura Mercier, I said, well, let me see what these lip pencils are about. They have one called Brown Tulle. And again, if you want to see this in operation, check out the video before this one. Been researching brown lip pencils lately. We know the OGs, MAC Chestnut and Cork, but I'm wanting something else. A little softer, maybe not as warm, not as much caramel in the brown, but not so cool that it turns purple, kind of like that new MAC Root for Me. I do have that one, I'm going to share it soon. This is a beautiful brown. It still has that touch of warmth, but it's not so dark chocolate so as to look a little harsh. Now, some of you will have heard of this next product, but no matter how many pros share it, it's still not commonly known. And this is William Tuttle foundation. This is a staple in Hollywood. So this is a staple in TV and film and also among celebrities. The types of foundations that individuals like Rochelle, who does Beyonce, and others do genuinely have in their kit. And these are available to everyday people. These come in a wide range of shades. Just about any human being can find their shades in products like these. Although Fenty kind of started the big mainstream broad color range, they did exist in pro products and also with brands like MAC. People shy away when they hear the word pro. I hear some people say stage makeup because in their minds they think unnatural, whereas these in reality tend to be the most natural way to get a flawless look. The brand also carries concealers and color correctors, true highlighters and contours, which are different from a lot of the techniques you might see online today. You got to see me use this for the very first time in the previous video as well. Estee Lauder's Futuriste Skin Tint Serum. This is one of my new arrivals. I've had my eye on it for a little while. I love what Estee Lauder does with complexion. These products are not outdated. They're actually ahead of the curve. I think I want to do a video on brands that people sleep on. I have another hidden gem for you. Now, many of you have heard of the famous Estee Lauder Double Wear. I believe that might be one of, if not the best-selling foundation. I would put that one definitely in my top 10 foundation, but a lot of people are not familiar with or don't want to share the secret of the Double Wear Maximum Cover Foundation. This is what you call Double Wear Ultra. This is a beautiful, flawless, full coverage foundation. It has a soft cream texture, but it is so lightweight on the skin. And random items, speaking of Double Wear, I got a new pump for my Double Wear. I have a Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer. Beautiful concealer, and it's a beautiful companion to the Double Wear foundation. Now, a lot of people know Estee Lauder makes a good complexion product and some nice skincare as well, but you may not know as much about the color products. Now, I bump into things that I like. I definitely do pick them up. So this is the Bronze Goddess, one of the Bronze Goddess bronzers. This one is super subtle on me, but the formula is just impeccable. This is another one of their multi-tone bronzers. So you can see there's a few shades in there, but when you swirl them all together, you get this gorgeous flush to the face. Estee Lauder does some of the most gorgeous highlighters in the business, and they do this superior baked gelée texture. So it's a powder, but it feels almost creamy, and it sits on the skin like a second skin. There were just a few things at Dior which caught my eye. One thing about Dior, you're rarely going to regret the purchase, at least in my experience. They make a luxury purchase the experience that it's supposed to be. They included a cute cosmetics bag. If you're like me, these never get old, and I actually do use them when I travel. Raised stitching is gorgeous. The quality of this cosmetics bag is better than some actual handbags. And the zipper construction is beautiful. It's a covered zipper, so the zipper is actually not exposed. It's covered with that beautiful silver. They also included some samples. What I like about Dior is that they actually include enough of a sample so that you have enough to try and determine whether you really like the product. This is J'adore. This is a well-loved fragrance. I think J'adore is pretty, but I've never been a J'adore wearer. This is such a classic feminine fragrance. Slightly sweet, you can smell the floral, but it has enough presence to not be boring. Really elegant smelling fragrance. It still smells good, although it's been out a while. The other sample is the newer J'adore L'Or. This is a twist on J'adore, and I believe this is by our friend Francis Kurkdjian. Smell a bit of the original J'adore at the heart of this, but this is sweeter. The floral aspect is more intense and the sweetness is denser. Now this is a little bit more femme fatale. I just dabbed a little on my wrist. I think I might like this. Generally, I don't like dabbers because I prefer a spray so you can get the full effect of the fragrance, but this is wafting immediately. This is like the old school fragrances where you actually could dab a little bit on, smell fragrant throughout the day, and your fragrance would waft because perfumes were actually stronger then. This is a sample of New Look. Okay, I think this is an aldehydic, soapy, fresh balm. Reminds me a little bit of Francis Kurkdjian 724. There's something familiar about this. I can't put my finger on it. You would really have to like this scent profile to like this fragrance. It also included a sample lipstick, but look, even though it's a sample, the case is beautiful. It's a nice deep red. Oh, see, that's one of those nice, soft, safe reds for the girlies afraid of red, of which I am not one. I'm in my nude lipstick bag and my brown lip liner era. Kind of looking, a lot of the brands have been doing that grayish, that sort of nudie gray lip liner. MAC has a relatively new one, but so does Dior. Dior lip pencils come with a sharpener. And they're also dual-sided, so they come with a lip brush in, and it's a very nice precision lip brush, so that's really nice to have. You know, I'm a big advocate of lip brushes. This is a really pretty sort of concrete brown. The texture is beautiful. The shade I wanted to try is Wild Brown. Again, I'm looking for something softer than chestnut, but deeper than cork. The formula to these is so creamy. Show this to you beside the other color. So this is the Wild Brown next to the grayish attitude. And I pulled the Laura Mercier Brown Tool out so you could see them side by side. Brown Tool is a slightly deeper. Now Dior does a gorgeous fragrance, period. In fact, one of my first big girl fragrances was Poison. I could not wait to get old enough and have a couple of coins to be able to buy Dior's Poison. But Dior also has a Privé line, which is their exclusive line or their even higher end line. And what they've done recently with Francis Kurkdjian at the helm, they have reimagined some of their signature collection. And they're calling these the Esprit de Parfum. Esprit means spirit or soul in French. And so he's taken sort of the heart of these fragrances and done a more intense twist on them. These are luxury fragrances, so in my opinion, a person should definitely sample them before buying. There are 5 in the collection. Rouge Trafalgar, which I have the original and love. I can already tell you that I have sampled this reinterpretation and I definitely would love a full bottle. But the other 4 I do not have the original of. So there's Amber Nuit, Gris Dior, Oud Isfahan, and Lucky. I know I have some fragrance lovers out there, so I can't wait to share my thoughts on each one of these. So while we're talking about fragrance, let's talk about some new fragrances in. I've really been exercising restraint, but there are some I've had my eyes on, and this is one of them. This is Mancera's Amore Cafe, and I have resisted this for about a year. I smelled it and loved it last year when it was released, but I decided to wait until this fall winter so I could get the full season wear out of it, because in my opinion, although you could wear this, you could smell this delicious any time of year, I think it really will shine in fall and winter. It's inspired by amaretto and coffee and other delicious notes. It has this really rich caramelized toffee coffee type of vibe. Whereas that perfume was a planned purchase, this one was not. In true Kayali fashion, they got me with the marketing and curiosity. This is Kayali Yum Bougie Marshmallow. Notes of strawberry, freesia, pink marshmallow. I have worn it for a week straight, and I have had it long enough, I think, to form a pretty solid opinion. I do want to share my perspective on this perfume with you, so I've decided to include that and just do a full Kayali review. This fragrance is new to my collection but not entirely new to me. This is the Luxury Niche House Amouage. This is Amouage Guidance 46. Last year, they released a gorgeous, unique, fantastic fragrance called Guidance, and this year they did a new interpretation of it, and it's a higher concentration of perfume oil, thus the 46. And I was very excited to see what they could possibly do with that masterpiece. I do have some thoughts and how I think it compares to the original, and I'm glad to share that in a future video if there's any interest. I want to hear from you. Which items do you have on your wanted list that you really think are worth it? I've enjoyed sharing this with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the very next video. But until we meet again, keep it pretty.